Please welcome to the stage Chief Information and Experience Officer for Truist, Ken Meyer.
Hello, everybody. Today has been a great day. We've had some amazing content, some great speakers. We've eaten a little bit of lunch. So hopefully everybody's having a good time. Okay, before we get to the real reason why we're up here, just a couple of housekeeping notices just for everybody's comfort. We have gotten word from law enforcement and local security. The lockdown has been released, so that doesn't mean that you can get up and leave. There's a new lockdown that's going into place. Larry will be at the door monitoring, making sure everybody stays and has a great time. But thank you all for taking the time out of work to join us today. We believe that connection, learning, and networking plays an important role in our industry. And at Truist, we believe that you got to have great partners and great innovators to surround yourself with, making sure that you continue to move the ball forward with everything that we do. And so even if those partners mean things like hanging out with people that are Italian and drink lots of wine and play that other type of football that I don't really know, but my kids play, but he loves. But all kidding aside, he even likes Broadway shows, which I think was pretty interesting. That's not my jam, but we love him. So we've saved a really phenomenal speaker for this afternoon, for our very last keynote of the day in particular. So please welcome to the stage Senior Vice President and Chief Revenue Officer of Global Enterprise and Public Sector for Verizon Business, Massimo Peselli.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, definitely I'm Italian. Definitely I like soccer, but I also like football. So it's great to be here. It's great to be here in Georgia. And it's great to be here to talk about technology and innovation. Verizon has big roots in Georgia. We've been doing business for decades with many companies. And that's one reason. Georgia is critical in the business global landscape. Let me give you 3 facts. For 9 years in a row, Georgia was named the #1 state for business by Area Development Magazine. 440 of the Fortune 500 companies can call Georgia home, and 18 are headquartered down here. The Georgia-based fintech firms employ more than 10,000 people in the state and more than 130,000 people globally. It is clear that Georgia is the destination where businesses can and do thrive. Today we're living some challenging times on the economy. The inflation rate, the war, the energy. There is one critical factor today for business to thrive, and that is technology. Well, 60% of CEOs consider technology as the critical factor to maintain and improve their company profitability. And 81% of CFOs say that they will continue to invest in technology in the next 3 years at the same level or more than they did in the last 3. That's a big statement. Companies adopt new technologies to stay relevant. And they need to harness digital advancement as a key source for competitive advantage. In some cases, I feel that's the only key source that they have. But why that? Why is technology driving profit and margin? Well, technology acts in 3 different areas. It helps on operational efficiency, streamline the operations, and ultimately automate some of the processes. We heard it throughout the day. That impacts the cost. But technology also enables a different engagement digital model with customers and partners and vendors, and create new revenue streams, and that's on the revenue side. But it's not only that. Technology also helps to increase employees' productivity and ultimately to create high-performing teams. So let's dig into the high-performing teams. In my experience, again, the rule of the three. In my experience, there are three common elements with high-performing teams. The first is they declare the collective objectives and the goals. The second, they identify what success looks like and define the metrics to measure success. The third, they create an environment where challenges can be addressed collectively. This is the critical factor. It is necessary to create a collaborative environment that allows employees to connect and to express their potential. That turns into elevate the individual performance, but also helps employees to co-elevate each other. And that's what we call high-performing teams. Well, connection is a key word. Well, in Verizon, we like a lot the term connectivity, but this is more of a human connections. People like to be heard. They need to feel seen. They need to be taken care of, and they need to be challenged to get the best out of their work. Is this happening today? Well, not really. A survey from the Ferrazzi Greenlight Research Institute revealed that on an average meeting of 12 people, only 4 people think that they are heard. But it's not only that. On a scale from 0 to 5, the average level of candor and transparency of a team is 2.4. So that means that people surveyed confess that they are not speaking up. They don't feel they're giving the full contribution to the success of the team. How to solve this? If you want our teams to be excited, to be part of a mission, to be connected, we need to leverage technology. Now, I'll come to the conclusion, and then I'll tell you how I come to the conclusion. Now, for Verizon, the key foundation of a technology stack that allows collaboration is the network, and 5G is the engine for this. This is the technology that breaks the barriers of the 4 walls and enable what we learn is synchronous and asynchronous collaboration. It's a connectivity that connects the people. We really believe that this is the most important technological innovation since the time of the internet to connect people. And it's the fastest growing technology that our generation has seen. So let me go back to the 4 walls. For many years, the business world was locked into this idea that the best form of collaboration was within the 4 walls of a meeting room. You had to be in the room where it happens. Well, it reminds me of a song of the musical Hamilton. You had to be in the room where it happens. If you were not in that room, well, you were missing out. That was 1790, though. A lot has changed since. Back to this century, we have all been using for at least a decade the collaboration tools. We've all been using WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and later Zoom or Blue Jeans. But something has changed. The pandemic shattered the traditional model forever. And with it, it's belief that a fruitful collaboration happens within the confines of the 4 walls. Now, we had to change our mindset. But the question is how? That's a big dilemma that everyone has, I'm sure, in this room. How do we find the right balance between the value of the human connections and the flexibility that every employee comes to expect right now? That's not an easy equation to solve. And this dilemma is felt across every organization, but also every level of employees within the organization. Let me give you another interesting result of a survey. This was a survey conducted just last year, in 2022, in US and UK. And that touched about 200 senior executives and 6,500 employees. Well, here's the conflict. 80% of the respondents said that communicating virtually makes them more strategic with their daily work. But 76%, almost the same percentage, said that they prefer face-to-face communications. And that's because the feeling is that in-person meetings fosters deeper relationship at work and trust. And trust is everything for successful and performing team. Well, the tug of war between traditional ways of working, collaborating, and the new way will take some time until a true or maybe few different new normals are established. Now, what will help us in this transition? What do we need? Again, the answer is one, is the technology. But this transition also offers an incredible opportunity. Virtualization actually took the lead off of the four walls of a meeting room. Employees can be everywhere. But that change creates an incredible opportunity. The opportunity to expand the circle of the people we collaborate with, adding talents, bringing fresh ideas, different perspectives, within the company, but also outside of the company, expanding the opportunity for collaborator everywhere, every place. Now, let me now introduce, back to my Italian roots, an analogy that comes very easy to me, and it's the analogy between working employees and food. Guess what? Think about us creating a phenomenal meal. So what are the first steps? The first step is to try to procure the best possible ingredients, and then you put them together, and then you start cooking. Imagine that you have access to any kind of spice in the world. That will give you the opportunity to look and search and pick that special ingredient that make a meal unique. In business, this virtualization, this breaking the four walls, gives us the access to any type of talent and expertise from everywhere when we need it to make a group and a company the best in class. Here's an example. Verizon is working with the companies for M&E industry. I want to pick two cases. One is an healthcare company. They're looking to create a very intense collaboration among specialists working in different buildings in the same campus. But then they extended this concept. What if a specialist in the Midwest could be connected with a specialist in London and a specialist in Phoenix? And they can share in real time enormous amount of data, like genetic data or MRI or any kind of patient data. And that they can be called as needed to help on critical cases. That's where the magic happens. That's where the network connectivity connects the specialist in real time, and this speed and accuracy can save lives. A less dramatic example, let's talk about a stylist, and all of these are real cases. A stylist and a designer in the fashion in New York, who's working on a new collection and can collaborate in real time with colleagues in Paris and in Milan, and in the office where they produce those new clothes. And that they can share not just information, but they can share almost a 3D hologram of what's being created and what's being designed. These are two completely different use cases from two different industries. But that's to share that this concept applies to every single industry. People can be simultaneously in a room, virtually or physically, and make things happen. How amazing is this? Now think at your business. That's a question I've asked every time when I meet with enterprise and public sector companies. Think about your business. What would be possible for you and your company if you consider the possibility of including worldwide expertise and talent enabled by technology? What possibilities could your teams manifest if everyone could be simultaneously in the same room where things happen? That's the opportunity we have. But let's go back to the people. We talk about people. We talk about people who needs to feel heard and needs to speak up. Technology is helping us with another opportunity. Technologies like share boards or share drives have introduced another option, the opportunity for what we call asynchronous collaboration. You can submit the same problem to 30 different people, and they can think about it. They can bring their contribution, their unique value to the team. And imagine if they could also see what each other is posting, how each other is contributing, and help and build on each other. That's what we call asynchronous collaboration. That helps even the more introvert people to give their contribution, to be part of a project, to feel part of a team. And that could be also a great opportunity to start the analysis of a new challenge, of a new product, or a new project. And that can be followed by a more traditional synchronous meeting where the teams can pile on each other and then they can focus on the areas of agreement, the areas of disagreement, and drill into the real challenges that the team is facing. That's what we call real inclusion. And again, technology makes that possible. I want to bring you another example. That's the example in public safety. Verizon has been working in public safety forever. And it's important because it's about people, it's about society, it's about life. And the traditional communication in public safety is on audio. But things are changing, and more public safety is willing to use video. We're working with a couple of agencies on an innovative idea. They want to create a video platform. A video platform that could collect videos from the agents on the scene, but it can also combine videos from street cameras and ultimately combine videos and capture videos from the community citizens. Think about that. Then, with the layer of processing of this video footage, and with the opportunity to create insights and use a layer of AI, then we can send back to the field, to the agents on the scene critical information or even resend some of the footage to help them to solve and address the challenge that they have. That's an extreme example of extended collaboration. Think about that. It's not just people working within the same organization, public safety, but extending the opportunity to everyone who can have something to say, who can be important for that specific problem at that specific time. Do you remember the four walls? That concept has completely gone. Now, we have introduced a couple of technologies. I talked about the technology stack at the beginning. Well, it is a technology stack. It's a stack of multiple technologies. Edge computing, in this case, will help to process all of these hundreds of videos. And AI will help to filter what is really relevant in that very moment for the agents on the field. But there's something that is even more important, and is the network. Nothing will happen, and nothing would happen if we don't have the ability to capture hundreds of videos and data and footage, and then send back in real time the outcome generated by the edge computing and by AI. That's the power of a network. That's why I call the network the foundation of the collaborative stack that will change and has changed the collaboration forever, and the ability to create high-performing teams. If you think technology today enable and will enable collaboration that looks beyond the organization chart. People will not collaborate based on organization chart. But technology allows and will allow people to organize the work around common objectives. And the same technology pulls together talents and different skills and expertise from everywhere whenever they're needed. That's how teams will perform. And that's how technology is redefining the concept of teams. Think about again how far is 1790 and the four walls. Now, like the chef that serves the best ingredients for the exquisite meal, I believe that the secret sauce for high-performing teams is the technology. And 5G and Verizon is the foundation of this technology stack that drives performance, that connect teams, that engage citizens and customers and partners. This has replaced and will continue to replace the four walls. This allows for the possibility of combining the best of a physical and virtual world. And this enables, have we heard and learned, the combination of synchronous and asynchronous collaboration. We don't even have to have the people in the meeting to collaborate. And that's all about technology. This is why in Verizon we invested $120 billion to build a 5G network in the last 3 years. This is why we will continue to invest in 2023 $18 billion to build the 5G network that enable all of what we discuss, all of those use cases and hundreds of more in different industries. Well, as I said, it's a technology stack. We're not alone, and we cannot be alone in this mission. We're collaborating with different technology companies, from OEM vendors, cloud providers, system integrators, software companies, leading edge developers. It's a whole ecosystem which is working to this idea to create a different and better world for companies, for public sector agencies, and ultimately for customers and for citizens. And that's why we collaborate with hundreds of customers to understand how this technology and the technology stack can help not just to solve some problems, but to reinvent the way companies and agencies work, given the availability of this new way of collaborating. We believe that 5G is the connection that connects the people, and we are in a mission to make that happen and to make the world and society better. And I know that it's a mission of a tag to help the society, and I warmly invite you to join us in this mission. Thank you.